Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today as always, and it's a beautiful, bright, sunny day in St. Louis, Missouri today. Hope it's great wherever you are in the world. Today's topic is going to be the continuation of The Power is Within, the book that's available on Amazon. Pick up your copy today. I know it will be of value to you. Before we begin, hit that like button and subscribe, and welcome to my new subscribers. Keeps me motivated. I know someone's watching and benefiting from this, and that's one of the reasons I do it, because it makes me feel good. I learned that early in life. Well, no, I didn't learn it early in life. I learned it middle of my life, that whatever I give away comes back to me multiplied. So if I can help you or encourage you in your journey towards your goals, dreams, or desires, it helps me to move towards mine even more rapidly. So that's how I satisfy my selfish nature there. I have to be unselfish to satisfy my selfish desire of feeling better. I call it altruistic selfishness. But as where before I learned that, I was just selfish and I didn't care about you, whether you got anything out of it or not. It was all about me and what I could get. So this seems to work better. It makes me feel better anyway, and hopefully helps you. So we will continue here on location 655 of The Power is Within. We were talking about when I was on the plane and didn't get to the place I was wanting to go. I got delayed. I got sent back here, then another place, and I ended up in that airport where I helped that person, which was not at all my plan, but I wouldn't have missed it for the world. So here we go. But it's even more than that. The power gives us what we want if we believe it can. Really, it will be to you what you believe it is. If you believe that power is a punishing father that's just sitting there waiting to catch you messing up, then that's what it's going to be. But if you believe it's a loving father or a loving source, creative energy that wants the best for you, then that's what it will be. So I heard somebody say the God you see is the God it will be, or he will be, or the creator you see, whatever term you choose to use for it. Call it Luis if you like. I've said that before. I got that from Wayne Dyer. Okay. What happened in the airport was an example of this. I love helping people. I love sticking up for those that are bullied. I love sharing experience and seeing it empower people. Those delayed landings and the overnight stay in Jacksonville, that was just what the unseen power needed to cause to allow me to help someone, which was fulfilling to me. Like our neighbor May and her mugger, it was also what someone else had matched themselves to. The siblings in that airport were putting out the vibrations of two people on their way back to a home that they hadn't seen in 2 years. Their journey was bittersweet. They felt the pain of having gone so long and the joy of returning. But they were also fearful. They were silently crying out for help, and the unseen power around them silently answered. I will likely never see the two of them again, but I will never forget them. I didn't learn their names, and they didn't learn mine, but I made a difference in their lives. And as I said, if I can make a difference in your life, it makes a greater difference in my life. Comes back to me multiplicatively. That also goes for things that you do to people that maybe aren't so good. That will come back to you multiplicatively also. Had you asked me as we were approaching that Atlanta airport whether I wanted to land on time or be delayed and rerouted twice only to spend the night in Jacksonville, sleeping in that cold airport, that sucks, and arrive home the next day, of course I would have chosen my original flight itinerary. In doing so, I would have missed the chance to help someone, and I wouldn't have this story to tell you. They would have been without help. I also wouldn't be able to tell you that story now, and you wouldn't be able to relay its importance to others, and the ripple effect of missed benefits would continue on. During my flight back to St. Louis that morning, I related the events of the past 2 days to a man sitting across the aisle. He remarked on the surprisingly good mood I was in after all that had happened. I hadn't even realized it, but he was right. I was feeling particularly free and light in that moment. I had been since the coffee shop. As a side note about the whole experience, I want to offer you this bit of advice. There is almost nothing that you can do which will more instantly and more effectively raise your mood than helping someone for free. It takes you out of yourself. Before that, I wouldn't say I was in a bad mood. I had kept control of my outlook, but I certainly wasn't floating in the wind. I was in that state where you have to keep trying to keep your mood in check. But after that, there was no effort to it at all. I had expected nothing back from that young man and his sister, and yet what I got back from the universe far surpassed anything I gave them. And there again, that just reiterates what I say. The first part of my life until I was about 30 was just about what's in it for me. That's everybody's favorite radio channel. Zig Ziglar used to say it. W-I, what's in it? W-I-I-M. What's in it for me? I lived my life that way for the first 30 or 31 years. And I ended up by myself in an apartment feeling like crap, knowing that the reason I was there by myself feeling like crap was because that's all I ever thought of was me, what I was going to get out of something. I never thought about what I could give, but always what I could get. I didn't see any relation to me giving and anything coming back to me. So I ended up alone and miserable. That was a turning point in my life. Okay. Whether we believe in or acknowledge this power or not, we tend to divert its flow where we wouldn't want it by thinking too much. Thinking is the enemy of the power within you. Too much thinking, too much logical thinking. Thinking is a good thing, of course, when it is used for the purpose it is useful for. But when it comes to what we might call the miraculous, thinking has no place. To be in the flow is to be in harmony with the universal plan unfolding around you, to trust it and to let it guide you completely. Some of the most poignant examples of being in the flow happened during my boxing career. When everything was clicking, I would enter into a state of being that seemed to defy logic. I would slip and roll and counterpunch effortlessly, almost as if I was watching it unfold in front of me, like a dream. No thinking involved whatsoever. It feels like surrendering yourself to the guidance of your instincts, and then allowing them to make all the decisions for you. Many athletes talk about being in flow, and you can be in flow in life and business and anything. When you're in flow, everything unfolds for you. But when you're not in flow or you don't feel like you're in flow, it's really hard to trust. I have a dog barking in the background, a chihuahua. It's really hard to trust your higher power or to trust the universe. The last few days I haven't felt too good, and it was really hard to keep my thoughts positive, and I even went 2 days and didn't make a video. I think I ate some bad food somewhere, and man, I was kind of sick for a couple days. But I managed to get through it, and now I'm starting to feel better again. It wasn't so much the physical part of it. That kind of was bad too, but the worst part was my attitude. Keeping my attitude in line with my desires was just difficult, if not seemed to be close to impossible. But these times that you struggle, your intention is what's most important. You aren't always going to visualize your desires perfectly or be able to feel that you have your desires perfectly all the time. And that's when most people give up. You have to get through these times. And maybe these times, like Conor McGregor said, maybe these times are the ones that really make you stronger and actually move you towards your goal even more, rather than the times when you can really visualize and feel your goal coming, or as if you already have it. Okay, when you do that, when you surrender, you got to surrender to every moment of every day. When you remove all the thinking and doubt and fear, you tap into that greater power. There are so many stories about people who have been in life-threatening situations and accomplished feats of speed or strength or agility that cannot be replicated by even the most athletic of our species under normal conditions. the mother that lifts the car to rescue their child, and similar stories. But this power isn't only reserved for life and death scenarios. It's available all the time. There is no need to wait for an emergency. You can tap into it now. The reason these stories tend to show up mostly in emergency situations is because when life is on the line and there is no time to think, the subconscious mind throws the conscious mind to the side and takes over. The conscious mind is usually the gatekeeper of what is possible. But in these situations, the subconscious mind tears the lock off the gate and allows all its power through. The dogs. The trick to experiencing this power at will is learning how to flow consciously between. Excuse me. Hey, stop it. Come here. Come here. All right, I'm back. Sorry for that interruption. Okay, the trick to experiencing this power at will is learning how to flow consciously between the conscious and the subconscious, learning how to operate the gate yourself. The conscious mind actually gets in the way, but you can program your subconscious mind. And when you do, if you have intuitive thoughts or intuitive thoughts or urges within you to do something, even if it doesn't make sense, you need to go ahead and do it. Hey, want to see the puppy? Yeah. I think she's pregnant. But anyway, you have to follow these intuitive nudges or urges to, even when they don't make sense, because they move you towards your goal. And you may never even be able to see how they had anything to do with the accomplishment of your goals or your dreams until you look back in retrospect. But at the time, you can't see. And you may never see what they had. But they change the course of your life when you follow these urges. I had lunch with a guy yesterday I hadn't seen in 40 years. It just so happened that I thought of him the other day, and I contacted another friend of mine, and he had been with him just a couple days before, and they were talking about me. So is that a coincidence? Anyway, we met yesterday, and I had a good time. He came with his wife, and we ate lunch, and it was really good. We reminisced about some old things, and I gave him a copy of my new book, The Power Is Within. He had read my other book, Coming Back Home, The True Adventure of Mark Daniels. He really enjoyed that. So you can pick up a copy of that on Amazon too. But we had a really good time. Now, I don't know whether that's going to move me towards my goals, but it was something I needed to do. I was moved to do that or urged. I had an intuitive urge to do that for whatever reason, but I did it. You never know. When you get older, you realize that everybody's not going to be around forever. So if you get a urge to go see someone you haven't seen for a long time, you might want to do that because you may not get another chance. I think about that because some people that I grew up with aren't here now. But those are things you think about when you're older. When you're younger, you don't really realize that. I used to wonder why my mom and dad looked at the obituaries. Now I know, because many of the people I grew up with aren't here anymore. They went on. Transcended, so to speak. But anyway, that's all we got for today. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.